It's becoming brutally apparent that the reason we're actually suffering as a society is because we're conditioned to do everything in this world. You're influenced by your friends, family, the system, the government. Literally, everything is conditioning. Like, you're literally pushed into getting like a career, um, and then at the whims of the government, for instance, because they control the money supply, the taxes flow, the money, half your money from your paycheck flows back to the government. You're conditioned to go and work, and in a normal job like that, it's like basically the conditioning of the world is not built for human well-being, and that's inherently why we live in tension, basically. I don't think, like, I generally don't think a wild amount of tension is actually normal. It's just that you live inside of a system that where it's been manipulated and you're conditioned all the time by the media, the government, just the people around you, and you have to, like, the only way to solve for that is critical thinking, awareness, and stopping that system where it's about a power dynamic, basically. You live fast-paced lives. You think you have to get a career. The whole institutionalizations of things is actually what's wrong. Unfortunately, it's just like, even it's not that monogamy is wrong. It's that marriage itself, the institutionalization of marriage, is what pushes people to get into marriages, because it's built on basically money. And again, I'm not saying money's wrong. It's just that that's why people get into marriages these days. It's not based on like actual desire to be with one another. You're getting into relationships based on power dynamics and for other reasons other than actually sustainable things. And sustainable things are built on good things like actual genuine connection and I don't know, shared interests, I guess. I don't know, stuff like that. But you're basically manipulated all the time, so you don't actually know who you even are. We don't even know who we even are anymore. That's why existentialism is actually the most important thing, is because it gets you to question why we're actually doing things, who you actually are, because you don't actually know who you are, because a bunch of you're just a bunch of you're just a bunch of genetic makeup of your environments, your social constructs, the narratives that are pushed in the media, and that's why it's so hard to separate yourself from who you think you are. You might actually think you're one person. You might actually think that you're supposed to be a certain way, but it's like nearly impossible to break away from your conditioning in society, because everything and everyone around you is actually influencing you. That's why it's so important to choose what you want to attach yourself to, because ultimately it's not up to the world. Like, literally fuck the world, because the majority of the world is not actually looking out for your best interests. They're just doing it, again, it's for money and circulation of money, and everybody's just bought into that system, because if that's how it was created by the government, whoever, and that's where it starts, then everybody else is going to think that's how the world operates, and that's how things are supposed to be, and you're going to go inherently try and make a business, try and get a paycheck, which is, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. I'm just saying that the inherent reason for suffering is conditioning, basically. And that's why the answer to society is inherently as much progressiveness as possible, and whatever feels natural and free is actually what's right. It's not like, you just want what's natural and free and feels right to you, instead of the manipulation of the world, basically. So, like, you don't have to listen to anybody, because no one actually knows typically what's right for you. You just need to normalize listening to yourself and what you think is best for yourself and what is right for you. We need to leave behind people trying to get people thinking people know what's best for you, because the only person that really knows what's best for you is yourself. And I'm not saying it's not even like the right or the left is right. It's just that you need to normalize like progressiveness and critical thinking and self-awareness, and understand that you're being conditioned all the time, and you need to everybody needs to figure out kind of like who they are, because they're not really anybody. I don't think, like, you're building up an identity around the system you're living in, which makes it hard to separate yourself from who you are. So like, it's like, that's why we all suffer, is because like we're always influenced all the time, and it's hard to like know what you really are. So conditioning and is the entire reason for human suffering.